Tonight, a man dead after a shooting rampage in Canberra's city centre. Calls for Ros Kelly to resign over the so-called sports rorts, and a public hearing to discuss Canberra's doctors' dispute. Good evening. In the national news to follow tonight, the workers who were punished for working too hard, and the Aussies wrap up the second cricket test. First though, all Canberra's news. One man is dead, another wounded, and a building is badly fire damaged after a shooting and ram raid drama brought the national capital to a virtual halt today. The bizarre string of events began with the shooting of a man at Dixon, before it moved on to Civic, where a vehicle was driven through an office in the Jolimont centre. A fire broke out, causing at least $1 million damage. Staff of 2 radio stations on the first floor were forced to flee from their smoke-logged studios by clambering down a ladder. After firing several times at police surrounding the building, the gunman shot himself dead.
The drama which brought a city centre to a standstill happened at about 7:45 this morning. A utility was driven through the glass windows of the CountryLink rail office in Northbourne Avenue. Police believe the gunman had targeted the Jolimont centre because of a woman with whom he was involved worked there. The crashed vehicle caught fire, flames ripping through the ground floor.
The police are outside with weapons, but the building's well alight. Further instructions, over.
The building, which comprises offices and a bus station, was evacuated. However, crews from 2 radio stations, 2CA and FM 104.7, found themselves trapped in their first-floor studios and had to smash a window to escape.
FM 104.7 are advised to go to the balcony area, get out of that location.
We thought it was an earthquake, as a matter of fact. Didn't see the gunman. Apparently he's firing bullets into the roof. We could feel the shutters. He must have been at least 10 to 15 shots. We were thinking about barricading ourselves in the studio because that was our main concern. We couldn't go down the fire escape in case he was there.
What a way to make the news, eh?
The shaken announcers were treated by ambulance officers at the scene, but didn't require hospital treatment.
It's unbelievable how intoxicating that smoke is. You don't realise it just hits your sinuses, your throat dries, your eyes just water. It's it's an experience. I'll tell you that.
My eyes feel like I've been crying all morning, but just stinging from the smoke. Bit of a sore throat, but we're just happy to be here, I think.
Just also confirming, we had 2 shots fired here early.
Armed police swarmed the area, covering every possible entrance and exit to the building. They found themselves coming under fire and having to take cover as best they could.
There were shots discharged. At this stage, I'm unable to comment further as to whether the offenders or the person's fire was returned by police. That's a matter for investigation.
In a bid to end the apparent siege, police chiefs then decided to send in their special operations team, armed with pump-action shotguns. The smoke inside so dense, the officers required breathing apparatus. At one stage, the roof on one of the floors collapsed, sparking fears police officers may be trapped under the rubble. There were no injuries reported. However, firemen found themselves having to fight spot fires caused by exploding LPG cylinders. Their bravery in the face of danger played down by their commanding officer.
We took as many precautions as we could to ensure that they weren't in any danger.
Yeah, the last time I saw this male, he dropped to his knees in the foyer area.
It was shortly before 10 o'clock that police reported they had found a man dead inside the building. However, the body couldn't be removed until after inspection by the coroner. The deceased man has been identified as 47 years old and from the Belconnen suburb of Holt. It's believed he died by shooting himself. His body was removed at lunchtime. The burned-out wreck of the utility was pulled out of the building early afternoon. Tonight, police are continuing their investigations into what is arguably Canberra's biggest incident since the murder of Canberra Police Chief Colin Winchester almost 5 years ago.
The drama in the city caused major disruptions. Traffic was diverted away from Northbourne Avenue for nearly 5 hours. Hundreds of staff from the Department of Industrial Relations office in the Jolimont Centre were sent home. An hour after being forced to flee their city studio, radio station FM 104.7 began broadcasting from spare accommodation at the ABC's premises in Dixon.
stands siege as a gunman rams a Canberra office building. 3 generations of one family killed in a car crash, and 2 babies switched at birth in a New Zealand hospital. Good evening. It's been a dramatic day in the nation's capital with the death of a gunman who wounded another man, then drove his car into a building, setting it alight. Police and firemen dodged bullets in the chaos, apparently set off by a domestic dispute.
There was no warning. Flames pouring from an office building in the heart of Canberra's business district shortly before 8 this morning.
The police are outside with weapons, but the building's well alight.
A white utility had ploughed through the front door of the building, a gunman apparently intent on finding a woman he was involved with. He roamed inside, firing wildly. Staff from a local radio station smashed a window to abandon an on-air program. With smoke billowing into their studio, they worked their way down ladders. Police with guns protecting them and the firemen.
And apparently he's firing bullets into the roof. We could feel the shutters. He must have been at least 10 to 15 shots.
As more police and fire units rushed into the area, smoke and flames spread through the building. The biggest worry that police have is that the man is not only heavily armed, but also has a number of fire bombs with him. The blazes started so quickly once the car had rammed through the front